everybody's familiar with sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is this conception that we all have needs as human, from very basic to much more elaborate. The basic one, coffee obviously is very, very, for me and for Terry, it seems it's at a very basic level. Food, shelter, we have these needs, and we have more complex needs. And it's the same really when we start to think about learning programs, particularly in the online dimension. They go through a series of individuals and programs go through stages of development. They're firstly dealing with very basic issues at the bottom around access to technology, having technical skills to actually be able to use these things. And once we get these sorts of things sorted out, when I was first coming into this area about 15, 20 years ago, that was a lot of my focus, ensuring people had reliable, substantial access and basic technical skill, so that we could actually get on to discussing learning and have interactions that we're learning. This is much less of an issue now. Cheap computers, the ubiquity of access, everybody's got used to the internet, the web. The learning curve is a lot smaller than it used to be. So where we're now really focused, slightly further up the scale, is on learning strategies, actually getting people to understand what it is, our conceptions of learning, trying to share some of those conceptions and get people to have those experiences we want people to be able to have them. But it also means we need to talk to them as well, understand what goes and how we adjust our environment so they actually do get learning experiences. And in a very advanced stage, there are certainly individuals, any online learning community you want to go dig around, you'll usually find one or two individuals who are doing some incredible things. And that's really because all the stuff around access, technical skill, and using the community to learn are just second nature to them. It's not stuff they have to think about, it's not at the front of their vision anymore. And that's when you start to see people creating things and doing some very interesting things, starting to contribute back to the community, producing artifacts, producing documents. So some very rich sorts of things start to happen. So that's kind of the first model I'd use. And the second one is this notion of different forms of learning. And at the very basic, everyone has an acquisition concept of learning. Learning is getting. I get something. If I don't get something, I'm not learning. Now this is, as I said, everyone's been cultured, and this from the age they were 5 years old till they were probably in their 20s if they went to university. It's a very basic conception, it is there the whole time. You can add a layer of this community level of way of thinking about learning, which is learning as participation, learning as activity. And the reason this becomes important, because the rich sort of context that we're creating here with these tools, this is where we want to slowly move. But you're fighting the whole time that everyone has this learning as acquisition. I'm not getting something. Yeah, but just do this. Yeah, but I'm not getting something. So one of the things, important strategies in communities is actually make sure people do get some things in the early stages. It keeps them coming back, okay? So you can build and develop these richer ways of looking at learning, but at the very early stages, make sure people get something. So realize they have this sort of continual pull to think of learning about a very basic level. So feed it a little bit and then sort of encourage them to come and see what you're creating, what it is you're able to offer, what it is that you're doing.